These are cricket wickets.
Oh, I thought they were drumsticks.
He was like, hey, bro,
Oh.
trust me. I mean, the unbeat. Like,
He looks just like the guy from The Big Short, yeah.
wait, I look at the guy from The Big Short now. But hold on. Wait, I'm about to do something so stupidly dumb.
Oh god. It's gonna be like a Sound of Metal joke.
Oh, wow.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Letterboxd 250 podcast. This is episode 2, and I'm your host, Kyle. I am joined by Eva.
You know me, big muscle boy. You know, Sharik, your favorite cozy boy, Don Dada. You love me.
And I'm also joined by
Simon.
Yeah, come on, you need some AKAs, bro. You need some AKAs. Can we give Simon his nicknames?
Yeah, let's give him a nickname.
Looking like the weekday, not looking like the weekend. Looking like the weekday. This man right here. The weekend of the Super Bowl. The weekend of the Super Bowl. Simon's about to do a toilet bowl. Let's go.
The week end me now.
The weekend me now.
Oh my day.
Oh.
How are you, Simon? You look down.
I am down because I've just been bullied.
Come on, Simon. You can fire him back, bro. Don't worry. Listen, you can give me some AKs if it makes you feel better.
We start with a roast battle.
You know what I mean?
Nothing's coming to mind. Nothing's coming to mind.
Imagine Simon in like 8 Mile, and he's like,
Oh my god. Someone's like, give me an hour and a half. I'll be right back with it. He's like, Mr. Eminem, can I have 15 minutes?
Oh god. Sharik, how are you? You seem very upbeat today.
I'm all right, bro. I just had 2 almond caramel latte things because I was off to sleep. Now I'm woo. If I run out to use the toilet, listen, what can I say? Coffee and my innards.
And I'm also all right. Thanks for asking, guys. I'm okay too.
Nobody cares, bro.
I was gonna say, just because I'm the host, like, it's weird being the host.
It's hard being the host because, you know, how do you deal with being so loved and feared at the same time?
Would I rather be loved or feared?
I would, love it if they feared me.
What's the office quote I'm trying to think of?
The office quote is, it's hard to be. I want them to be scared of how much they love me.
Should we move on to the film?
Yeah, come on. What's 248?
Yeah.
We're on number 248, and that film is, I've almost forgot what it's called then, Taste of Cherry. Taste of Cherry is about a middle-aged man, Mr. Baldi, who is intent on killing himself and seeks someone to bury him after his demise. We're going to be talking spoilers. I'll start with you, Sharik. Sharik, what did you think of this film?
Okay, so just off the top, I appreciate that it wasn't 4 hours, first and foremost. Let me say that. After LaBelle, that beautiful nuisance from last week.
Yeah.
I
you have drumsticks that you could have.
I just couldn't hear where I put him. But no, that's terrible. That's a terrible, No, but as far as Taste of Cherry goes, I thought maybe it's the copy that I watched, and I want to bring this open afterwards for the discussion. I saw a lot of people talk about how beautiful this film is, and how it's really like it's one of those like slow paced, slow moving conversation. And I love films like that. This one personally didn't do much for me. What I found is with my copy of the film, like the copy I watched, it was in, I think it was they said it was 720p. It wasn't 720p, but it was like a Criterion version, but it wasn't like fully. I couldn't appreciate the beauty of the film. Some shots I did like. Overall, I thought, I don't know, man. It wasn't for me. I understand what was happening, and I can respect it from a technical level, but it wasn't for me.
Oh, what a shame.
So I really, really, really liked the final act of this film. There is the final guy who gets into the car is the first time I felt like anyone was trying to talk him out of what he was doing. Before, it felt like they were giving their reasons to why they didn't want to help him. They weren't telling him not to do it per se. I think one guy sort of did because he was saying killing is wrong.
The second one, yeah.
That was for the religious reasons he wouldn't.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
seminarist,
The,
yeah.
the final guy felt like he actually cared and was like, don't do this. And then he has the moment where he takes the photo for a couple. And I thought the film was becoming like the beautiful stuff in life. Like it seems like a lot of films we've been covering recently are about like just the beauty of life itself. And I got that a lot in the third act with the final guy who gets into the car. But then the final scene kind of ruins it for me because he gets into the grave that he's dug for himself. And then all of a sudden, I thought it might have been like a Borat sort of film where they interviewed real people. Because all of a sudden, you see the camera crew, and I thought it was going to be revealed like they were doing a social experiment to see who actually cared. But like, they just show the making of the film for no real purpose. Like, am I crazy? Like, what was the intent behind showing the making of the film?
Did he kill himself? Very nice.
Oh my days.
Like, do you understand what I like?
No, I get what you mean. I agree with you. I don't want to say any more before Simon says his point of view on this.
Probably said everything he was going to say already.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But I want to say, no, I'll get back to it afterwards. Simon, you make your point when we get into the debate.
So I like the concept of existence being explored this way. It was very simple, very simple. Like you remember like 2 days ago when I said Baby Driver was a simple thing. Like it's a very simple concept.
Just on paper, how simple it sounds.
A car was the vehicle, literally. Yeah. And it's the same thing here as well. And the concept makes for a fertile, it's very fertile for an interesting story. And the film ends up being, in my opinion, interesting. And there's a kind of mirroring effect of a lost man seeking help in this desolate area on the outskirts of the city. But then it's kind of juxtaposed by 2 or 3 people reminding him that you need to live, you deserve to live. It's okay. These are just natural problems. Even the last one, he's like, I even nearly killed myself until I tasted cherry.
He said mulberries.
Mulberries.
Yeah, but the translation, I guess.
No,
in the finger it said mulberries for me as well. Did it say for you as well?
No, later on he says, do you want to see the sun one final time? Do you want to taste cherry? He gives him more examples later on.
Yeah.
Wanted to taste these cherries.
Wanted to taste Tom Holland.
It's a very weird name to have for a film when he doesn't even taste the cherry. It's like, this is just dumb. It's very dumb in that sense.
I mean,
like the name it's not even significant.
It just sounds good.
Yeah.
It
doesn't sound good.
I like the title.
I like the title. I'll agree with you two in the sense that like I know it sounds like I'm hating on it. I didn't enjoy it at all. I enjoyed it more than La Belle. So I don't want to keep talking about that film. And maybe because it was shorter, it did feel like a world. Like you were more immersed in it. You cared about the conversations and stuff. I agree with Kyle. And like until the third person came, I didn't really because you see him do other stuff. And I get the point of the film that he just drives around and this is what he does and this is what's going on. But when the third guy comes, because it was the third guy in it who was the one who's like, yeah, my family needs the money, cool. When they go together, it just the film came alive for me, and I kind of hated that was in like the last. Wasn't even last 40 minutes, was it? Was it last 40 minutes?
It was like the last 40 minutes.
It was like the last chunk of the film, and that part I really really enjoyed. I thought he could have spent more time doing that sort of stuff, but I understand that's not what the film wanted to go for. And I did find at times, I don't think it's as beautiful as everybody was saying, and I think that sort of like the limitation of shots, which I know everyone talks about, oh, the shots are so gorgeous. I thought they were quite limited because especially like the car and stuff, and like for the first maybe hour of the film, it's very similar.
I found it visually beautiful. I remember watching it and then because Sherry, did you watch it on YouTube?
I didn't watch it on YouTube, but my the quality of the copy I watched wasn't as good.
Oh, it was available on YouTube again, and it was in 720p, and I thought it looked beautiful, and then I pressed the button to see how long it was left or something, and it said like the year it was released, and I forgot.
I was just going to say that.
I forgot it was out in 91. It looked like it was made like in 2016.
The last decade, it was so beautiful.
Because there's also
So
no
gorgeous.
indication of like the time period in the film.
Yeah.
See, that my issue with it was, and maybe it's a copy I watched. Maybe I should go back.
Yeah.
Because visuals really do make such a difference in that sense. The copy I watched was very like it looked very not pixely, but like
grainy.
It had like a very vintage feel to it, if that makes sense. It wasn't 480p. I could see everything clearly, but it looked hazy almost. And it looked, when I watched it, it looked like the film was made in the 50s, which was wild to me. No, I'm being serious, mate. It might just be the version I watched, because the story itself I enjoyed. And I just thought the visual aspect of it let me down a little bit, but I understand it might just be the copy I watched.
Yeah.
I think it is.
Yeah, because you'll see my rating later. I do like the film. It's just like I enjoyed it. It was all right.
So when I started it and I saw it was going to all be in a car by the looks of it, have you seen Luck, the Tom Hardy film?
Yeah.
I've heard of it.
I love that film. That's like such a great film, and like what it does in the limitations of the car. And I thought a guy like pondering like contemplating committing suicide while having like these small conversations in the car. I thought the concept sounded like fantastic, but none of the conversations, like I didn't care about any of the conversations until that final guy gets in the car.
It's the last one that like gets you.
And like, even in all these conversations before, we never learn about him, which I know is the point, but I would have liked to have known a bit more. And even though we're being told information about the other people, like we know what they do for a living, we know what their like moral stance is on suicide, but I still felt like I knew nothing about them and didn't care about them. Like the guy, we spent like 20 minutes getting to know this guy who's like in the army, for him to just run away. And like we'd never seen him.
Yeah, he really did, because that
he just dipped, yeah.
No, because that whole scene when he leaves, I know it's supposed to be like he's abruptly leaving and this and that, but it was like it kind of lulled. Like, did you find that in that first scene with him? You're like, yeah, especially because it's like a foreign film, so you're really like into it a bit more than you would be in like almost like a normal one. When he leaves, I was like, oh, sorry. I was like, I felt like
he seemed like a kid as well, so.
It was the whole thing was
so too much pressure for the first person. Anyway.
It did make me laugh when he drove past the barracks and he's like, "Don't worry, I'll bring you back." I was like, "Nah, you should have jumped out then."
So part of me wonders, would I have rather the conversations been better and have multiple people, or maybe the film just be him and one person the entire time? Like, part of me thinks this is going to sound like really harsh, but I think this would have worked better as a short film.
Yeah.
Like, it was just that final conversation, and I would have given that like a 4 or even a 5.
If that last 30 minutes was just a film, because I think as far as the premise of the film, every time someone gets in the car, he sets it up again.
Yeah.
Every time someone's in the car, you can.
It's too repetitive. Like he has like.
I didn't need that beginning section where he's driving around, where it looked like he was cruising.
Yeah. Do you know when he talks to the guy who's not in the car, like he's working like on the cliffside?
In the UCLA, it was UCLA, and his job and stuff. That stuff was interesting, and when that happened, because I didn't read the description of what the film was about. I like to just go into things.
Yeah.
And I was watching it. I was like, "Oh, this is interesting." But when he kept driving to people, and he was he was looking for workers and stuff, and that I was definitely for the no. And when he was in the car with the guy before he mentioned suicide, I was like, this, because this concept, as you mentioned before, with like Locke, the idea of someone driving around, picking up. There was that Scarlett Johansson film Under the Skin. This concept and stuff has been done a lot of times. Even the concept of like the suicidal guy, Last Stage, driving around looking for reasons, someone doing one last favor. You've seen it so many times later on, and in other things, that it's something that you're kind of used to, and that might be us as like cinephiles and stuff. But I took your word. I have a question. Have you guys seen I feel like you've definitely seen it. There's this web series online where there's this guy who drives around and he meets different people in every like sort of episode of it.
Is it
Um,
is it scripted or is it real?
it's real, but it's fake. So there's like people who come in to this guy's car. They drive around, and I'm trying to remember.
This fake taxi.
Is that what they call it? Because there's a female one and there's one with a guy, and people get in his car and they drive around. They tell him a bit about They tell him a bit about his life, and there's always the same guy driving, but there's different people in the back of the car, and
His
they'll
face
tell him a
always
bit about
blurred.
what.
Is his face always blurred?
I think they do that as an artistic choice, so you can't tell who he is. And then when they go to the person in the back, they'll tell a different story. You know, she might be new to the country, or she might have to go to a meeting, or she's a secretary. Her boyfriend doesn't treat her right. Her husband is doing this. This is how how they get along. She's looking for a good time. Occasionally, they might know him, and he goes around. And I think it's,
How are you comparing this film?
no, because this came out in 1991. You said, right?
You think
Seven.
this originated?
That series came out in like 2011, 2012, 2013, and it's really popular. So I'm saying there's definitely links and comparisons between the two.
Yeah, I imagine so.
And there was the
Yeah.
female version of this. There was like a spin-off of this as well, where I can't remember what it's called. In French, you'd call it not French. In Italian, you'd call it Fugazi Taxia. Fugazi Taxia. That's what you'd call it.
Oh my god. Moving on from that, Simon, as someone who likes,
Have you guys seen it? Have you guys seen this like series?
never have.
No, I don't think so. I just
You should check it out.
synopsis before. I've read the synopsis. Yeah.
It's the plot details of it are, and it's so like realistic when they show you stuff. It reminds me of Lars von Trier almost, or like someone of that akin. You know what I mean? They just show it.
Someone of that breed, you could say.
Yeah, just you know, it's right there.
Yeah.
And they follow a similar structure, which I will say might be their downfall. And at a certain point, the person knows that they're on camera, but they disregard the camera, and then it ends with ultimately what is humanity's greed and selfishness in nature. Where now that the driver has got what he needs from this person, he just leaves them where they were, and there they are.
Simon, on the topic of cameras, what did you think of like the fourth wall breaking ending, like using that footage? What did you think it added anything or?
I don't think that added anything. I think that was just like, here you go, guys, like behind the scenes.
Yeah.
I think that was it, to be honest. I don't think
It's
it was meant
such,
to be anything.
Like a dark ending as well. It's like here's a banter we had on set.
It was so abrupt. Did anyone else find it because it was green
Yeah.
and it like the footage of them like
real time cameras at that time. Yeah.
yeah, because he was in the grave, and I thought and by the way, that might have been one of my favorite shots of the whole film is when he was in the sorry, I'll put the
In the grave.
when he was in the grave, because it was such like claustrophobic, and you could there was so much symbolism in that shot, and I was like, I really loved it. But then with the sudden, it's like they didn't know how to end the film. They didn't want to make a bold choice.
That was a bold choice.
No. In the sense
It
of
was
like
the worst bold choice they could have made.
no. I mean a bold choice in the sense of like, does he kill himself? Does he not? And they didn't even want to leave it. You could have faded to black, and it would have been a better ending.
They did on my one. Like, it went black and then it went to the behind the scenes. Like, we don't see him get covered.
No. It was almost instantaneous.
Yeah, so we don't see him covered in like the thing. So we don't even know if the guy came back in the morning buried him.
This is a bit of a dumb comparison, but it's a real comparison in the sense of like, you remember Inception when they spin the top, and you never really see where the top falls, but you see it spin.
Yeah,
we don't even see, but see, and then it goes to like the credits. They should have done something like Inception. No, but like they should have had something similar where it goes to black where you don't know. Maybe you hear some footsteps, but you don't. You know what I mean? You'll never know what happened. Have it fade to black. The fact that they just cut straight to documentary footage, just like what you were saying earlier, Carl. You didn't know whether it was like a documentary or what was going on. It was too abrupt, man. I didn't.
And also, because it's a film that wants you to think and like leave you on like what does happen, you don't even have time to think about that because it instantly just shows you like behind the scenes footage.
Yeah. Okay, maybe that was dumb. Yeah.
But it feels like back to back week. I'm talking about like what I would have done with the ending, but
Yeah.
I feel like it's the ending. I'm going to say would give you an answer whether he dies or not. I would have him drive down to the grave. It cuts to morning, and then the final guy who got in the car, he drives down as well, and he goes to like look in the grave, and all he sees is the money. Like the guy's not there. Like he just left the money for him because he decided to live. That's what I would have done. But obviously, like the filmmaker has his own reasons for why he chose what he did.
See, I don't even need an ending like that. I think to keep in tone with the film, you could have given me something ambiguous because the film did have that sort of dreamy quality to it.
He could have even just looked over and then we don't
see. Even if he looked over and he like cut grey, or even if it had like faded to black on the grave, great. So just some definitive like conclusion. And if you really want to show us the behind the scenes, which didn't enrich the film at all, in my opinion, like a lot of times behind the scenes enrich the film. This didn't. You could have played them over the credits or like with the because the credits were like a minute and a half long at the beginning of the film.
Yeah.
They were mad long.
But yeah, so I think we should give our final thoughts and a rating. Simon, do you want to go first? Because you seem to be the most positive on it.
I'm going to give it 3 right now. Yeah. It's a good film. Very gorgeous. Yeah.
Sherrick?
Originally, I was going to give it 2.5, but I've been thinking about it as we talk, and you guys have helped me. I guess, as the point of the podcast, you guys have helped me like cement some thought. There was no cement in the film. I don't know why I brought that in.
Awful.
But that was terrible. But you guys have helped me like really cement some thoughts. I'll give it a 3. I enjoyed it. Am I ever going to go back to it? More than likely not.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it, and I thought it was. I agree with you. If it was shorter, or if it was just that last section, I would go higher. Actually, I'll go 2.5. I'll go 2.5 because to me a 2.5 is just because threes are like films.
That is a positive rating, isn't it? Because it's over 2.5.
Yeah, 2.5 is a good half the way point. That's how I feel.
Yeah. I have another question. I don't know if mine skipped. My version skipped. Do you know the final guy who gets in the car?
Mm-hmm.
Does he just appear in the car?
He felt like it, yeah. He was in the thingy area where they were making like all the rocks in it.
He's never invited in.
Yeah.
I don't know if he didn't seem like he worked on the site.
He just cut scenes.
Does he even exist, guys?
Yeah, he goes to the hospital.
But yeah, he works somewhere, doesn't he? So
no, but like, how do we know that guy doesn't know? It's not a
because he was speaking to people through the window. He could hear.
Sherrick's already come up with a better film.
Just off that theory.
So imagine he goes to see all these people who like.
But it's just him.
No, like let's say all the people before are like not interested in him. They just don't want to do it. And then he's like in his head, he wants someone to care. So he visualizes like a final person who does care.
Yeah.
Like that would be
himself that taste of cherry.
And like we can open with him eating cherries to show that he likes cherries. Like but I would go 2. Like I
did think it skipped, by the way, over there. When we said, I just want to say that for the record. I did think I thought it skipped. I thought it was the only one. I thought it was my copy.
When he showed up in the car, I was like, have I missed something? But yeah, I would go 2. The final half an hour, apart from the behind the scenes footage, was brilliant. That would be like a 4.5, I'd say. But anything before, I just didn't care for, and I feel like it could have been done a lot better.
The film won the Palme d'Or in that year,
Yeah, but a lot of things win awards. You know what I mean? A lot of things win awards, and awards don't really mean anything. The Oscars were just created to control the studio people. Like genuinely, as a fact, Oscar Mayer made the Oscars because the actors started to unionize and ask for money, and he thought if I give them awards, they'll shut up about it, and they did. And then it's been legitimized throughout. Because I found this out, and it's been legitimized now throughout. So now it's this thing that has prestige, same as the Golden Globe, even though that's just a popularity contest created by the Hollywood Foreign Press. So celebrities show up. It's all arbitrary. It's all Mario. It's all a game. doesn't mean anything. There's no difference between getting an Oscar and me, the winning the championship in 2K. It's both a meaningless fictional award, but it makes us feel good.
Yeah.
But there are different material impacts on two at the flip.
Not really, because it's all a matter of
Yeah,
opinion.
if you win Oscars, you get more funding.
Look at Casey Affleck. Casey Affleck won an Oscar. When's the last big thing you saw him in?
He also got Me Too'd. Now.
But that doesn't mean anything, bro.
Yeah, it does now.
People get Justin, like, what's his name? Morgan Wallen said the N-word, and he did all this bad COVID stuff, right? That guy recently, and his streams have gone up 400%.
Yeah, by country people who like them kind of music.
But other people too.
That's
Country,
normal, yeah.
country was like, we disown
And also
him.
by people wanting to know who the hell the guy is. That's normal outrage.
I don't know, man. But to either or.
So
Okay.
we're 3 films in, and we've only liked one by the sounds of it. So
What's been your highest rating?
Two.
Soul.
2.
Soul.
Like 2?
Which ones did we like?
I personally.
Oh, me.
Soul
I like.
was my highest
I
rating.
like 2.
I liked this a lot more than Le Belle Nuisance, but out of films I'd rewatch at the 3 we've seen, Soul would be my top so far.
So what would be our ranking of the 3? I think we're in agreement it'd be Soul, then this, and then the French one.
Soul.
La Belle Noiseuse.
And then I'll put Taste of Cherry here, and then Le Belle Nuisance right here. I'm touching the floor. It's right here.
What's our next film? Our next film next week will be North by Northwest. Hopefully that will fare a lot better.
Hitchcock classic.
So yeah, should we talk about what films are popular this week and what we've been watching?
Films this week. I was supposed to watch the new To All the Boys. I've loved. What's it called? To All the Boys I Loved Before, Always and Forever. I was supposed to watch it earlier in the week. I haven't seen it yet. I've moved it to a different day. I'll watch it when I watch it. What?
What did you think? What did you think of the other ones, like the previous 2?
First one was fire. I actually really enjoyed the first one. I thought it was really fun. With the first one, because I like rom-coms. Like, I really love rom-coms, and I quite enjoyed the first one, and the second one was ass, because I watched them like back to back. Right. So people like I don't know. Did you guys watch the first one when it came out and then watch the second one when it came out?
Yeah.
Did you watch them like when they came out? So maybe you guys didn't care or just didn't remember, because I get it's one of those that you'll forget about. But at the end of the first one, Dean Ambrose is this like big buff white military guy, and I was like, what? And then instantly we go to the second one. It's like Dean Ambrose, and she's playing with this little black kid. I was like, what? I was like, what the hell just happened? They didn't even need that scene because it's on Netflix. One, they didn't need that scene at the end of the film, and 2, they could have just cut it out and it would have gone straight to. And I would not have said anything. I would not have said anything.
2 funny things. I do remember that he's white in the first film.
He's white as hell.
You're calling him Dean Ambrose, like the wrestler. His name's I think it's John Ambrose. It's
John Ambrose?
Because I said Dean before as well.
Oh god. Okay, so John Ambrose, but he's not. No, and he looks old as fuck in the first one. He's so hench, and like he looks like a military. And he goes up to it. I'll never forget this because I couldn't stop crazy. I watched him with the lad, and he knocks on the door, and he's like, look, got your letter, Laura G. He's like, got your letter, Laura G. You're like, what? And then the second one, he's like, Laura G, your letter meant so much to me when I was in school. And like, that guy's such a cuck. Like in the second one, you know that scene. You know that scene where like the 3 of them are together and say, "Hey, Laura G, do you want some pizza?" And then Noah said, "What's Noah Centinel's character called in the films?"
Oh, something Kavinsky.
Peter Kavinsky. Peter Kavinsky. He's like, "Laura, I have some pizza for you." She's like, "No, Laura, I got your favorite pizza." And then he just sits in the back. He's like, "Oh, my favorite."
So, could you watch them back to back? Is the first one actually really good? Because I remember watching.
The first one's great.
I watched it at the time and thought this is like actually a good film, not just it's a good film.
It is, yeah.
And then
first one works because
it's
got everything, and like with the first one, it felt like not only could you have done more, but like it was a standalone. I think that's the problem with these films sometimes. they're so busy making like the second and third, they forget to make the thing a standalone film, like something you can just like a film in it or something you can watch.
Yeah.
And the first one's great, and it's got like personality and heart, and the ending is great, and everything works about it when they get together in the hot tub. It's never quite apparent how old these guys are. And then the second one, I'll tell you why it's terrible, because King Batch is at a party with all these kids, and they're supposed to be kids, and some of them look 16, and King Batch I know is like 39 now or something, because there he is at these parties, and you're like, yo, leave. She's like, leave, man. I don't want you here. And he's like, hey guys, we're gonna get so turned up tonight. I'm like, yo, relax. And King Bat, did you see when like all the protests were happening? So what he did for clout, he wrote the name of everybody who had died on his body.
Oh yeah.
And he started like freestyle rapping into the thing. And he goes, I don't care. He goes, I don't care how many sponsors I lose. And you're like, what sponsors are you gonna lose? What sponsors do you have? Who's sponsoring you? He's like, I don't care how many roles I lose. He goes, I don't care if they don't put me in the next Marvel. I'm like, bro, they were never gonna put you in that. I'm sorry. I don't know who you think. I don't know who you think is gonna put you like. Who are you supposed to play, bro? Like, oh, I had one last thing I want to say about the second All the Boys. And I'm curious to get your guys' thoughts, because let's be real, it's not going to be on the 250 podcast. Can we talk about it a little bit just at the end of this episode?
Yeah.
Right. I thought they had lots of like fake drama that they wrote into that film, just because it was like the second of it. No, into the second one, because it was like of a trilogy. It was like he wasn't waiting for you, Lara Jean. He was waiting for me, and I'm like, but he also bought 70 Korean yogurt snacks on a hot bus. Like, also, they're not Korean, they're Japanese. They say that in the advert. And also, your cult, you can get it from any local supermarket. Why did he have to find a specialty store? Like, I've been to America.
Could say it wasn't realistic.
It's in Target. You can buy guns in one aisle of Target and buy your cult in another. You don't have to go all the way out. It's ridiculous. But it was like, I thought it was like a lot of like dumb tension. But is the third one better?
That's I was going to bring the whole thing full circle. The third one,
it's good. That's it.
It should have went from the first one to the third one, and I feel like this would be looked at better, because it's almost like it doesn't address anything from the second one either. Like, it's like the second one.
There's nothing. Yeah, you don't need a second one. You can skip it.
She kissed John Ambrose at the end of the second. I'm trying to remember. And she kissed John Ambrose at the end of the second one, and then she's like, "I love Peter." And then he showed up to the old people house where she works.
I remember that bit when he shows up at the end.
That's how it ends, isn't it?
I think so. There's no fallout whatsoever from that film. There's like, if they were to cut that film out, you wouldn't notice. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, you can skip it.
And I actually found like in this third one, like, because I thought it was just going to be like your typical like throwaway rom-com, but there is like some good conflict in it compared to like the second one.
And at the end of, no, it wasn't the end of the second one. There was like a really dumb argument they had in the second one that took up like 10 minutes of like screen time. And that film's already like 2 hours, isn't it? Or something like that. But there was like a scene where like she thought he was about to pressure into sex or like something like that. And he's just like kissing her. And what's the weirdest part is the car's parked here and he has one of those Jeeps that you can see inside. And her family's there. Like there, that's in the house. And you know the sister's watching out the window because that's her personality. And then she's like, I'm not gonna have sex with you in this car. And he's like, yo, and he had the reaction. That's the best reaction, like the most realistic acting I've ever seen from Noah Centino. He's like, yo, who talking about sex? Who's talking about sex right now? Like, he's like, huh? What sex? I don't want that. I want your personality, baby. I'm like, yeah, that's what you want at this party, bro, huh?
I have a question. So, Letterboxd asks on Twitter, what double feature of old film and new film would you partner if you were to program a movie night in a cinema?
When we say old film,
one old film. So, like, basically, as long as there's like a, let's say, 40-30 year gap, that's fine enough between the two.
Oh, as I said, we're not just do pre-2000. So it has to be 30. Oh, wow,
you know what? You could do that as well. Yeah. Do that.
Okay.
There was no rules when they posted it.
Ooh, that's a tough one. Do you have one already in mind?
Yeah, I do. I've got one.
You go first, and it will give me time to think of mine.
I have a few ideas, but I want mine to be better than yours.
That's not. That's impossible. That's impossible anyway.
Go drop
anyway,
yours.
I picked Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid from 1969 and Miami Vice from 2006.
Oh, ooh.
Can I ask, because I haven't seen either of those, are they similar in any way?
Yeah, thematically, yeah. The two people.
Wait, so you're linking just that there's two people in there? You're like, yo, these two films had
Yeah.
two people in there.
That's what I'm gonna say because you haven't watched it, so
Yeah.
there's two main protagonists.
What can you give like thematic links without spoiling the films?
Two main male protagonists involved in various action sequences.
No, I've never seen Bush Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
Yeah.
And Miami Vice,
It's
Miami Vice is one of those films I've been meaning to watch for a long time, and I will watch it. But I remember playing the PSP game so vividly. Remember the PSP game for Miami Vice? It was so crazy.
No, I was poor.
Oh, I didn't pay for it.
Eric, do you have a double feature?
I was like, shh. Do I have a double feature? Ooh, Kyle, I thought you were gonna come second. Okay.
I still can't think of one.
I'm trying. Okay. Oh, I got.
They don't have to link.
I got
themes or whatever.
I got a good one. After Hours and Uncut Gems. I tell you, and I'd show. Yeah, I do in order. I do After Hours first, then Uncut Gems. After Hours, the Martin Scorsese one.
Which other one would it be? The Weekend album.
the Weekend album. because the Weekend's in both of them in it. So like, no.
Yeah, it's linked.
Abel was in both of them. No, both the films have like this sense when you're watching them, it's very not disorienting, but you feel this lovely like sense of dread as you're watching it, and you can feel it internally. And they both follow a protagonist as things in his life just get worse and worse and worse. After Hours follows the protagonist over like the course of like a night, but the night just stretches on forever, and the things he has to go through. While Uncut Gems goes over a couple of days, but it does feel like one whole thing. And I think that'd be such a great deal, because the Safdies as well pay such a homage to Scorsese in their work, which isn't always apparent, but you can see it. You know they're about it. And After Hours is one of the underrated Scorsese films as well, in my opinion. I think that'd be a perfect double feature, actually. That'd be good. A double feature.
The stupidest one I could come up with was Rain Man and The Hangover. Because they reference Rain Man so much in the first Hangover movie. Like, I that was the best I could come up with on short notice.
I thought you were going to say because they're both in Las Vegas.
Oh, well, I suppose that's a similarity, but there's like both have a casino scene and they played the same song, and it's like obviously a reference to Rain Man. But yeah, that's the best I could come up with. Rain Man and Green Book, they share the exact same plot, but just replace racism with autism.
See, that would have been better. That would have been a better double feature.
Yeah.
Or you can do the Simon approach of there's two people in Green Book.
Yeah, don't give it away.
There's two people. You don't have to give it. I didn't give away a single like plot detail from Uncut Gems After Hours, but I explained why they worked. I said you get the sense of this and this that, and that's why you were just. And I was like, the Safdies are clearly inspired by school, and you were just like, there's two guys in both films, and both stuff happens. Both are men. Ooh.
In case you were worrying, both are men.
No women in this one.
Oh man. So yeah, I hope that satisfied you, Simon.
Not really, but okay.
So do you reckon we should finish on our final 4 recommendations? Does anyone want to go first?
I can go first if you want, and then because I know you guys need some time to think.
Yeah, you go first.
My recommendation for this week is because I'm trying to get my recommendations to be somewhat linked to the films that we're talking about. So something that I thought was akin to Taste of Cherry, but not exactly the same thing. In a weird way, Inherent Vice. Paul Thomas Anderson's 2014 film, Inherent Vice, starring Joaquin Phoenix, underrated actress Catherine Watson. Isn't it Catherine? Oh, I think it is Catherine Watson. But yeah, the cast is amazing. The film is really good. you know how this film's like a trip and it takes you in a very immersive world and you follow the protagonist going through what he does. Inherent Vice is something similar to that, but it's a noir film. It's like a detective story set at the beach. It's like a very like hippie vibe set in like the 60s. It's a very good film. I don't want to give away too much because the nature of the film is that it will take you on quite the trip. But it's a very good film and I highly recommend it. 5.
I actually have a recommendation planned this time.
Oh.
I've been rewatching a lot of films recently. I don't normally rewatch, but this year, for some reason, I've rewatched a lot of films, and one that sticks out to me is Booksmart. The first time I saw Booksmart, like, this is going to sound really cringy. It's going to sound like something that's written in a review, but it's not meant. But I mean it. My mouth hurt when I left the cinema because I was smiling the entire time. I can see Sharrett coming up with like an innuendo in his head. But yeah, like I was grinning the entire film. And it's like the comparisons to Superbad are obvious, but it's got like a more artsy, like more flashy approach, which I think really worked. And the two main characters are just fantastic. What are their names? It's Beanie Feldstein and
Caitlin Denver. Caitlin Diva Denver.
Diva.
Almost there.
Yeah, it's one of them.
Yeah.
But their chemistry together is fantastic, and I just think the message of it, the message I took away more than anything was how like everyone's their own person, and like there's the subplot with the character who people call AAA. Because she like performed a sexual act once and it stuck, and like you actually see like she's a good person, and it's not like people are just one-dimensional because they're not. And there's like people we probably didn't like during our time at education, and for one reason or another, they're not a bad person. They're just a bad person in our narrative, if that makes sense. Yeah. Everyone's got their own side of the story, and there's one line that I remember really liking when she's giving her side of the story. And she's like, why that nickname hurts is because the girls call it her too. And I just thought that's like something we don't think about a lot. And there's the character who Beanie Feldstein has like a romantic interest in, and he ends up getting with someone else at the party. And he's presented as the most villainous character in the film. But then at graduation, they're still like, goodbye, like, it's been nice knowing you. I can't wait to see you in the future, whatever. He's not a villain. He's not interested in her, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I just like the way it presents people as not just one-dimensional beings. And I think that's just a really good message for a coming-of-age film that I wish was around when I was at a similar age.
Do you think it's better than Superbad? Or if you take away the nostalgia aspect of it, if you take away the emotional attachment that you have because you Superbad at a younger age.
This is going to sound pretentious, but it's a better film than Superbad is. It's a better made film. Like the direction's stronger.
Yeah, Olivia's wild.
But I just think Superbad has more memorable moments, more memorable characters. And obviously I grew up with Superbad.
Yeah.
And I think there's a reason why that stuck around so long. I think Booksmart will find its audience as it goes on, because it does have an audience, but it's not mainstream. And to be fair, I showed it to my brother and sister, and they're like, it was all right. They didn't love it. They didn't find it overly funny. And
how old are
they? My sister's 18, I believe. My brother's like 14, 15.
Oh.
And you know what? On the rewatch, I didn't find it overly funny, but the story and the characters held it together. Whereas maybe Superbad is funnier on a rewatch. But I think they do different things. Even though the similarities are there, they do very different
apples
things.
and oranges.
Yeah.
I thought it was a fantastic film.
Good choice, Carl. Good explanation. Let's see if Simon can give us a good choice and a good explanation. Let's hope for, we're hoping for a lot right now.
My pick would be, because I'm a real feminist ally, I would pick 20th Century Women. Like, it's one of those films, just so lightweight. You can put it on, you can fall asleep, you can get lost, you can dream. It radiates so much feel-good energy.
You're using my keywords, bro. These are my
Question.
keywords.
Question.
Does it have a similar vibe to? We always bring it up, but the French film we watched last week, that La Belle Noire, so you put it on in the background and kind of fade away. But
Nah, like
that looked good.
yeah, okay, yeah, that but good, yeah.
No film wants to be compared to that.
Yeah, like rich dialogue, visually specific, yet the camera work is like expansive. I don't know, like I don't know what else to add, man. It's just watch it, man.
Greta
So
Gerwig
beautiful.
in that.
Yeah, she is. She's
She
in it.
didn't direct it though, did she? I think a
No,
guy directed it.
The guy directed it. It was about his mum.
It's
It's
not-
kind of an
it's not-
autobiography.
It's not Mike Nichols who directed it. No, Mike
I don't remember
Nichols
his name. I know
No,
what
this
he
is
looks
the-
like.
Oh, I know the name.
I
of the
know
guy.
whoever directed it directed $1 Million Arm with John Hamm.
That's the first time anyone's talked about $1 Million Arm.
Only
In
because
4 years.
I haven't seen the film, but I saw a different podcast review the film. So like, I have an idea of what it is without seeing it.
You're the reason $1 Million Arm didn't make $1 million.
Wait, did it not?
No, I don't think it did. That film bombed.
I was gonna say, did it make profit?
That film came out straight after John Hamm finished Mad Men, and it was this big like everybody was talking.
Making.
Yeah, but the summer it came out it was 2015. That film came out, wasn't it? So the summer that came out, it had to deal with Trainwreck. It had to deal with Mad Max Fury Road, Spy, and all these hits. And like, because the same films that sort of flopped because of like just the juggernaut of that summer, was films like Man from U.N.C.L.E., great film that flopped. Fantastic Four, terrible film that flopped.
Nope, different director, by the way.
Oh, it was a different director. What was the guy's name?
I don't know. I didn't check it. I just checked $1 Million Arm director. It's not him though. I know that for sure. Carry on.
$1 Million. No, but that summer, because I remember $1 Million Arm came out because the show finished in 2015. It literally finished like Mad Men finished, I think, in 2015 June, May, something like that. So he's just come off like one of these crazy runs, and everybody. It's like, what did Bryan Cranston do after Breaking Bad? He did a film as well, but his was Trumbo, and he got Oscar nominated for it. So he just this was supposed to be his Trumbo, like, but it's like he was doing like he even went, he's gone to India, he's got to teach his kid how to play. When he's promoting it was him and that Indian kid going everywhere. It was like, yeah, we love John Hamm. And
it was his fault for doing a Disney film. Who does a Disney film? Like,
but no, I think he thought it was gonna be like a prestige Disney film.
No, it was dumb.
When
was not Pixar?
When was the last like good original Disney film?
Tomorrowland.
Not animated.
Yeah, something like Tomorrowland where it was original. I actually
Tomorrowland.
seen Alexander and the Terrible, No Good, Very Bad Day.
You say that at least like 3 times a year.
It's like a really it's one of those that like me and my family all love. Like that's a very good film, I think.
It's because Steve Carell's in it. That's why.
I'm about to say something radical, and I could be wrong, and I'm open to being wrong.
Go on.
Sky High.
That wasn't. Oh,
2005.
That was ages ago. But okay, yeah.
I was gonna say that's a good film, but that's in between.
No, but that's a film that's like just A1. That's a film. You have movies and you have films. That is no, because all the jokes are constructed so well that they work. I could watch it at the age of 5. My youngest brother is 9 now. I've shown it to him, and he found it funny. It's like timeless in a way, which a lot of films are. And like you think the CGI would be terrible and all that. A lot of it was like practical effects, apart from obviously like sludge and like a lot of like stuff. It just works.
Yeah.
Which I think what was a recent, like you have to give me like some recent Disney ones. I can't think off the top of my head of them. Tomorrowland I haven't seen.
Most of them are just
good film.
The reimagined ones, aren't they?
Yeah, the live action ones were like. I think I didn't like Dumbo.
There's a new Disney original called The One and Only Ivan. That's on Disney Plus. That's meant to be good. That's got Bryan Cranston in it, actually, with an ape.
Could you give me some more like recent ones that have come out in the last ones I would know that have come out in the last 5 years?
There's one called Togo with Willem Dafoe.
Queen of Katwe.
I haven't seen it.
That came out.
Yeah, that was new. John Carter.
That was 2013. Are we counting Pirates of the Caribbean?
Oh no,
That's a sequel.
Yeah.
That's the fifth film. Maleficent 2 I saw, I didn't really like, but it was all right. It was all right. It wasn't
I
terrible.
suppose
It was not sky high.
the live action originals just don't hit the way they used to either. There's a very underrated one called Glory Road. That was like a basketball film. And that's like from 2003 or something. That's an older film.
Ages ago, yeah.
But that
Yeah.
I watched that on holiday. And you know, any film while you're on holiday is just like the best film you've ever seen.
The Santa Claus, the Disney do the Santa Claus.
Yeah. What
Great,
isn't
great film.
that's a biopic, isn't it?
Biopic following one man's journey to become Father Christmas. That's a biopic, just like Fugazi Taxia was a documentary series.
Should we come up with one team recommendation?
Yeah, guys, should we do Sky High for our fourth pick?
Makes sense.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Disney classic.
It's a classic film overall. Our fourth pick, guys, is Sky High, a film that kind of links into themes of all three of our films. About a guy trying to find himself and get out the shadow of his family and, you know, prove himself to be who he is.
Yeah.
Which, weirdly enough, does link into all three of
Yeah.
all three films.
Before we sign off, Sky High or Spy Kids? Which is
Sky High.
Sky High.
Sky High.
I would say Spy Kids, but that's because I have a more.
That's because you're a contrarian. And we already know that you're a contrarian by all of your choices.
And I think that's where we're going to end it today. I would like to thank Sherrick and Simon for joining me on episode 2. The next film we're talking about, as I mentioned earlier, is North by Northwest. Hopefully we'll like that more than we liked this week's film. I've been Kyle.
It's your boy. Me, it's Shark. I'm your boy.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. And Simon.
And we hope you enjoyed.